West Indies Cricket, Caribbean Cricket Podcast. West Indies Cricket, Caribbean Cricket Podcast.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another edition of the Caribbean Cricket Podcast. I'm one half of the Caribbean Cricket Podcast, Machel St. Patrick Hewitt. And what do I want to do today? Well, the title says it. The title says it enough, really. Do Guyana and Barbados care about West Indies cricket? Now, I'm fairly certain because this is going to be a little quick one. I'm not even going to talk too tough. I'm fairly certain the Guyanese amongst you, the Bajans amongst you, are going to run quick to the comment section and smash the keyboard, smash your phone, whatever, furiously, saying, go suck out, stink London, Englishman, etc., etc. Cool, do that. But listen to the video first. Listen to what I'm saying, then tell me I'm stink London man afterwards, because I think there are serious questions to be asked and have been for quite some time about the intentions. What do I want to say here? The intentions, the competence, the worth of the GCB and the BCA. In fact, I would strongly espouse that they work counterproductive to what Cricket West Indies are trying to achieve. And that's not to run interference for Cricket West Indies. Two things can be right at the same time. You can believe that Cricket West Indies as an entity needs to be improved in various different areas, whilst also believing that Guyana and Barbados are deliberately sabotaging things. Two things can be right at the same time. But I'm just going to present the facts, the stats, the evidence, and then you lot can get in the comments below and answer this for me. The first part of this video, I want to speak to President Irfan, and I want to speak to Mia, PM of Barbados. I want to speak to Irfan, and I want to speak to Mia Motley. Earlier this year, or was it back in the last year? I can't even remember now. It was earlier this year, sorry. There was a huge Caribbean symposium where some of the state leaders, Keith Rowley was there from Trinidad, Mia was there from Barbados, Irfan was there from Guyana, and they all came together along with like the key stakeholders in Cricket West Indies, all the kind of key stakeholders in the Caribbean who claim, CCP weren't there, but that's because I was at work. All the key stakeholders in the Caribbean who claim to have West Indies cricket at the forefront of their minds turned up to this cricket symposium. And there was clips of Mia singing Rally Round the West Indies. There were clips of Keith and Mia and Irfan publicly saying that this is what we want to do for West Indies cricket and so on and so forth, right? And there was kind of like a kind of swell of goodwill and people coming out of it saying, yeah, there's a vibe again. Like, we're going to save West Indies cricket. But I want to focus specifically on Guyana and Barbados out of this because, and obviously there's rules about government interference, right, in cricket boards and so on and so forth. But the maths isn't mathing for me. How can you have two leaders, Irfan and Mia in particular, who say, yeah, we're right behind West Indies cricket and we want West Indies cricket to prosper? And I'm not saying they're lying. But how can you have two leaders who arguably would say that they're the two most influential leaders in the Caribbean right now and present themselves as statespeople? Obviously, Guyana's got oil and they're booming right now and so on and so forth. And Mia is an excellent orator and is very much a statesperson of the Caribbean almost. She's almost bigger than, certainly bigger than Barbados, but certainly bigger than the Caribbean in terms of her state, in terms of how she comes across as a statesperson. Right? So this ain't a personal critique of Irfan and Mia. I just want to know what backroom machinations, or have there been none, that have gone on in Barbados and Guyana? Because why is it that the Guyanese and Bajan cricket boards can openly defy, openly speak out against Cricket West Indies, not turn up to critical meetings, and we're just supposed to just say, okay, cool. What, we're just supposed to nod our heads along and go, yeah, that's cool. That makes sense. It don't make no sense. It don't make sense. And what are Irfan and Mia doing about it in the back rooms? Because to me, if you're pro cricket in the region, what your cricket boards are doing is a big embarrassment. A big embarrassment. Right about now, Irfan's supposed to be walking into the GCB headquarters and gripsing up a man, gripsing them up against the wall, maybe slap them up across the face a couple of times and say, what are you doing though? Mia's supposed to have gripsed up Conde Riley by now. Grips him, yes? Grips him up and asks him, what are you doing other than drinking rum? What are you doing? I don't get it. Let me get some stats and facts. For those who don't know, in fact, let me, as I'm talking to you, let me just bring some stuff up, because this is quite important, that I read out the actual statement, because I think people need to understand the context of why this is a talking point in West Indies cricket right now. So let me just read the official statement. Here we go. Where is it? Here we go. So what date was this? So on November the 30th, Cricket West Indies put up a news item saying Cricket West Indies has announced that a pivotal meeting with its full member shareholders will take place on December the 6th, 2024, to vote on implementing the government's reforms recommended by the Wehby report. The Wehby report was done years ago, saying that how Cricket West Indies is run as a structure is not fit for purpose in the 21st century, and significant changes need to take place to its governance structure, because if you don't fix the governance, you effectively can't fix the cricket, right? The Wehby report is available online, free to read. So anybody who's always wanted to know, but what does the Wehby report say? You can go find that, right? You can go find that Wehby report and read it and see what kind of suggestions were made about what needs to change in West Indies cricket. Cool. So that was announced on the 30th of November. You then had, let me just, again, people, I should have really had this already before I started, but you already know how it goes with West Indies cricket and the Caribbean Cricket Podcast. So then on December the 6th of the said meeting, a statement was then put out by Cricket West Indies. Again, I'll just read it verbatim. Cricket West Indies regrets to announce that a quorum was not met for today's pivotal meeting on governance reform, as the representatives of the Guyana Cricket Board, GCB, and Barbados Cricket Association, BCA, failed to attend, having opted not to appoint 2 representatives as required by the company's Articles of Association. Guyana formally indicated their non-attendance, while Barbados did not provide a response. This marks the second time that both the GCB and BCA have opted not to attend a meeting of the members. The first instance occurred in 2021 at the AGM. All the other full member shareholders from Jamaica, Leeward Islands, Trinidad and Tobago, and Windward Islands were present and prepared to proceed. President Shallow said, Cricket West Indies President, Dr. Kishore Shallow said, it is deeply disappointing that representatives from Guyana and Barbados did not see the importance of being present at this crucial juncture for the future of West Indies cricket. Governance reform is critical to ensuring our organisation's growth, sustainability, and ability to inspire pride across the region. This moment required unity and collaboration, and their absence undermines the collective effort required to move forward. Now, since that has happened, people, because I've got all my evidence alongside me, since that has happened, Barbados have been really quiet, to be fair. They just haven't said anything, right? But the Guyanese Cricket Board have put out statements. I'm going to just read you one of their press releases, okay? So this is quite a lengthy piece of stuff I'm doing for you. I'm putting together all the evidence. This is from the Guyana Cricket Board, press release, December the 7th. The GCB clarifies December the 6th proposed Cricket West Indies members meeting. Only 2 amendments were on the agenda. We were quite flummoxed to read the verbose response from Cricket West Indies on the subject of governance changes being promoted by CWI. The 2 proposed amendments that were to be tabled by Cricket West Indies at the aborted meeting of December 6, 2024 were 1. to increase the term in office of the president and vice president from 2 to 3 years, with a further amendment that they can serve for 3 consecutive terms. 2, introduction of a new article within the Cricket West Indies Constitution that a nomination cannot be withdrawn save by a notice in writing by the nominee himself, herself. We maintain our stated position that the proposed amendments are self-serving and cannot and will not change the many issues affecting West Indies cricket, both administratively and on the field of play. Verily, we are convinced and have proposed the introduction of a rotating president and a long-term cricket development plan as a positive and sustainable solution to the debilitations within the administration of Cricket West Indies. Now, so 1 second, so that was the GCB's statement as to why effectively they did not turn up. Effectively, read between the lines, they're saying we didn't turn up because we didn't agree with some of the amendments that you were going to discuss, so bun you, we're not turning up. Now, my thing is this: what type of puppy show is that? What type of child's play, ignorant behavior is that? If you disagree with something, you turn up and air your views, yes, and vote against whatever it is that you disagree with. You're just not turning up. Barbados ain't even submitted a reason for why they haven't turned up. At least Guyana submitted something, as nonsense as it was. At least they've submitted a press release and a statement to say why they haven't turned up. But essentially, I charge the GCB and the BCA with playing Politricks. Either you want to discuss governance reform or you don't want to discuss governance reform. And if you disagree with the amendments and principles being discussed at the top table of Cricket West Indies, air your views in the right forum, which is at the top table of Cricket West Indies. By not turning up, it shows a lack of respect, and it shows that you put yourselves, so the same self-serving behavior they're obviously criticizing Shallow and the rest of Cricket West Indies about. So what are they doing then? Is that not self-serving behavior? Is that not, if we don't get our own way, we're taking our ball and we're going home? Like, we need better answers than this. And then the thing is, I got a message the other day saying, what are the GCB talking about? Because they've changed the articles of their own cricket administration to increase the term of office for a GCB president to 4 years. So this message was sent to me saying, so they have the temerity to cuss out Cricket West Indies and say, we're not coming to vote or talk about that amendment, but in their own GCB organization, a president can serve for 4 years. This is the Politricks. Politricks. Now, if you're somebody who's listening to this, watching this, and you're maybe a tad confused, and you're like, but where's this all come from? Let me give you a brief history lesson. When Dave Cameron was Cricket West Indies president between 2013 to 2019, a lot of his support came from Guyana and Barbados. There was a guy in Guyana called Sanasi, who might as well have been Dave Cameron's compadre. In Barbados, you've had Conde Riley in post as a president for donkey years. In 2019, when Ricky Skerritt ran against David Cameron, most people assumed that David Cameron would get re-elected again. And Cameron was supported by the Guyanese Cricket Board and the Barbados Cricket Board, and he assumed that his own territory, Jamaica, would also vote for him. But when push came to shove and the presidential votes happened for Cricket West Indies, Skerritt got support from Leeward Islands, Windward Islands, Trinidad, and Jamaica. Jamaica didn't even vote for their countrymen. That shows you how bad of a job Dave Cameron was doing, that his own countrymen didn't even want to vote for him to be Cricket West Indies or to be reinstated as Cricket West Indies president. Note again, the two boards that voted for him were Guyana and Barbados. Since that day that Cameron lost the Cricket West Indies election, Guyana and Barbados have been moving over Buki. Here's just a couple of things that I remember. During the England COVID tour in 2020, Conde Riley made a formal complaint against Phil Simmons, who was head coach at the time, because Phil had to attend a funeral. Conde Riley made a complaint to the highest heads of Cricket West Indies, saying that Phil Simmons should be sacked for attending a family funeral because he had put the whole of the Cricket West Indies team at risk by breaking the bubble. That's just I'm just giving you examples of things that I know of. 2021, Guyana and Barbados failed to show up to a Cricket West Indies AGM because they didn't like what was being discussed. Didn't show up. 2023, Kishore Shallow, who by now was Cricket West Indies president, had to issue a strong rebuke and strongly worded letter of accusing, not even accusing, telling Conde Riley that he's unprofessional, because Conde Riley had gone on Barbados radio and leaked the news publicly in Barbados on the Mason and Guest show that Barbados was going to get the World Cup final. At that point for T20 World Cup, at that point in time, no such news had been announced by Cricket West Indies. No formal news had been ratified to be put, like it was. If the news existed, it was under embargo. Riley decided to go into business for himself and into business for Barbados, and just leaked it anyway. And he received a strong rebuke from Dr. Kishore Shallow saying that this wasn't even a final ratified decision yet, and Riley's just gone into business for himself. 2024, Guyana kicked up a big fuss about Azim Basaraf being re-elected as vice president of Cricket West Indies, to the point where they launched a formal, I think they even took it to court and said that Basaraf was re-elected unopposed, and Guyana didn't actually didn't agree with Basaraf being re-elected, and that they had withdrawn their support of Basaraf. And how was Basaraf able to be re-elected when they had formally withdrawn their support? Anyways, whole bunch of legal to and fro in. Basaraf stands down. So after Guyana make all that big fuss about Basaraf should stand down, he stands down. Cricket West Indies announced, right, we're going to do re-elections for a new vice president. Basaraf stands again and wins unopposed. What were Guyana playing at? A whole bunch of puppy show for what? Later on in 2024, just now, a week ago, we have a scheduled meeting for governance reform in Cricket West Indies. Guyana and Barbados don't turn up again. And so this is why the question of my video says what it says. Do Guyana and Barbados cricket associations care about West Indies cricket? And my charge to them is very simple. They only care about cricket in their own territory, or they only care about the wider region, Cricket West Indies, if it's benefiting them first, and if it's benefiting them first and everybody else second. So when people say to me things like, oh, how can West Indies cricket move forward? It can't move forward. It can't move forward. All the while we've got two cricket associations, territorial boards saying we're not turning up to the meeting of all of the boards. And then people are looking at West Indies' performance on the field and wondering, why does everything in West Indies cricket feel so disjointed? Duh, two of the boards don't even want to work with the others. So when certain people are saying West Indies should disband and teams should go their own, the first two who should go on their own then, go on then, Guyana. Go on your own, yes, and show the rest of the Caribbean what you can do. Barbados, go on your own, yes, because that's what you're doing. Effectively, you're already doing that. Like, I don't think people fully understand this. The height of disrespect to not show up to AGMs, to not show up to significant board level meetings. Barbados haven't even produced any explanation. They've just not shown up. Guyana have produced some letter, press release saying this is why we didn't come, because basically we don't agree with it, so we're just not turning up. So that's how we run things in West Indies cricket. And let's not forget as well, people, that currently Barbados Cricket Association have just taken the Super 50 issue to court. I don't know if anyone's been following that one. John Campbell, the Jamaica captain, has admitted his fault for not turning up to the toss for the Super 50 final between Barbados and Jamaica. He's admitted his fault and he's received a 4-match Super 50 ban. Cool. Raymond Reefer and Barbados have not submitted anything. Raymond Reefer hasn't answered any charge from Cricket West Indies. In fact, in response to that situation, BCA, predictably so, because if anybody watched my video on myself and Santoki, the video on the Super 50 final, I even said in that video, go back and watch it. I said in that video, I bet Barbados are going to kick up a huge stink about this because everything about their cricket board's attitude is so predictable. And so said, so done. Raymond Reefer, advised by BCA, don't answer the charge by Cricket West Indies. We're going to take this to court. We're going to sue them. You're being prejudiced. Don't admit any liability. Now it's in court. Barbados Cricket Association care about themselves first and everybody else second. If they don't like something, they ain't playing ball. So hear me. Hear me. Mia Motley and Irfan Ali, you did big talk at the big cricket symposium. You said rally round West Indies. We wanna boost up cricket in the region. Cool. Go talk to your people then. Go talk to your people then. Because I'm now saying that you two are full of hot air. Because if you aren't full of hot air, you'd be talking to your people then. Conde Riley, I hope this video goes to you specifically. You are an old dinosaur fart. Get out of cricket. Get out of the cricket. You're in your 70s. You've been holding on to power for God knows how long. Come out of this thing. Come out of this. And shame on everybody connected within the kind of sinews of the Barbados Cricket Association. You know that man shouldn't be in power anymore, and you've not done anything about it. You've not done anything about it. Guyana Cricket Board has been run like a madness for the best part of 10 years. And we're effectively, as not we, because I'm not in Cricket West Indies, but the region is effectively being held to hostage by these two cricket boards. Revolution, people. Revolution. My name is Machel St. Patrick Hewitt, one half of the Caribbean Cricket Podcast. I'll come to Barbados one day for the cricket. And by the time I touch down in Barbados, if Conde Riley is still president of the Barbados Cricket Association, Barbados ain't a serious country. They're not a serious country. Oust the man out of power. Oust him. Oust him. You lot moving like he runs the plantation. Oust him. Machel St. Patrick Hewitt, one half the Caribbean Cricket Podcast. You done know. I ain't shook of no one. I ain't afraid of no one. I'll say what I have to say. If you don't like it, suck it up. See you all very, very soon.
West Indies Cricket, Caribbean Cricket Podcast.